What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and welcome back to the development of my upcoming LEGO Avengers Infinity War custom minifigure showcase video. This time we're covering the Winter Soldier, or White Wolf, whatever, and the Falcon, along with an overall progress update of where I'm at and how I'm somehow managing to stay sane while working on these figures every single day. So, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, White Wolf, whatever, was probably like the easiest figure I've had to make for Infinity War, right there next to the Hulk, because it's a pretty straightforward design. So what I really focused on was the head and the arm and how I was going to go about improving the gun this time around. And so starting with the head, I took another Poe Dameron head, just like I did for Civil War. A lot of people didn't like the Civil War version, rightfully so. It did kind of look a little bit weird. So what I did this time was I painted the eyebrows in an entirely different way, and I also painted on my own aggressive facial expression in the form of some gritted teeth, and I think it turned out looking pretty cool, man, and I'm pretty happy with it. And so then, of course, the new arm that he gets from Shuri features some new gold rim, features some new gold plating. It's slightly darker with like a more gunmetal metallic color, and I tried to portray all of that on another chrome Stormtrooper arm, just like the last two Winter Soldier minifigures I made over the past few years. And so I think it turned out looking pretty awesome, man. But one of the number one things I wanted to change with this new version of Bucky was, of course, the massive gun. LMG thing. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about guns, but I do know it's an M249, apparently. Or at least that's what Brick Arms calls it, I think. Again, I have no idea. But it looked pretty close to the reference I was looking at, so I took one of those from Brick Arms, and then I modified it. Chopped up the back a little bit. I took a MP5 magazine and shoved it in the side, because for the first Civil War version of this gun, man, I did like a matte paint job and it didn't look right. I tried to like shoehorn some unnecessary detail onto it, and I didn't like that either. And I also jammed the magazine on the bottom when it should have been on the side, and so that entire attempt was a screw up, and so I really wanted to make amends for all of that. 2 years later, of course, and I'm pretty happy with it this time around. Definitely a hell of a lot better. But the Falcon, good lord, making this figure again 2 years later. I'm sure a lot of you guys are just already wondering, why did you do this again? And it's simply because I knew I could do better this time around if I just attempted it again. And of course, I did. It was a lot of work. I'm working on this for like nearly a week, but it turned out looking pretty awesome. The first version of this Falcon suit was, I mean, it was okay. The original wings were like a retraced version of the Winter Soldier wings, and so it was already an outdated design to begin with even 2 years ago, and so those wings were like really stubby and not as accurate. And then I also, for whatever reason, elected to paint the hair onto his head, because I remember my excuse was his hair is so thin in the movie that it wasn't even worth the hairpiece, and I also wanted to paint that strap around the back of his head. But I feel differently 2 years later. I think it definitely looks better to just use the head that LEGO has to offer in the sets, especially now that they included an updated version of it with an aggressive facial expression, along with a new updated version of the torso print that they did a couple years ago, because back then it was light gray. Thankfully this time with the Hulkbuster smash up, they changed it to dark gray, so I was able to take it, add on some of my own paint to the chest along with like the lower half so that it would blend better with the painted legs, which are also, by the way, the exact same design as my Civil War Falcon's legs, because I was really still fond of that design, to be totally honest with you. So I literally just replicated it onto my Infinity War pair of legs for Falcon. But back to the wings though. I pretty much took a similar approach. I took a fine point Sharpie to a sheet of photo paper. I sketched out the outline of how I wanted them to look, and then I just cut that out, traced it onto some cardstock this time around, as opposed to some action figure packaging plastic, because, well, I mean, the action figure packaging plastic, it's a mouthful already. And I felt that a thick sheet of cardstock would do just fine, and thankfully it did. It worked out, and I managed to paint all of the detail on these wings, front and back. And no, I'm not going to show you the back. I've got to save some things for the showcase, right? But then I sculpted the jetpack, and all of that was said and done, and it was time consuming and tedious, and I screwed up quite a bit. The wings are certainly not perfect, but I think I did a pretty damn good job regardless, and I'm pretty proud of it, man. So now, where am I at with Infinity War? I still have like 6 figures to start on. So that's fun. And we're moving out of this apartment in like 3 weeks. So that's even better. But then some of you guys are wondering, Where's Black Widow? Why haven't you started on her? She's kind of like one of the main characters. Why are you making these guys first? But like I said, I'm collaborating with Andrew Vu from AV Figures for certain elements, for certain Infinity War figures that will be in the showcase, and Black Widow is one of them. And that is why you have not seen her just yet, but I promise she, along with all the other characters, aside from the Black Order, are coming. And hey, that's actually a perfect segue into the question of this video. Am I making the Black Order? I saw so many of you guys asking no. Look, man, they seem pretty cool. I mean, of course, taken straight from the comics. I'm sure they have a similar story to both Gamora and Nebula, probably taken from their home worlds after Thanos came to conquer their people or what have you, and they all have their own unique abilities, and they're going to be pretty freaking cool in the movie, and I'm sure their CG would look a lot better than Steppenwolf, but ultimately, I don't care. And that's the whole problem. While they look cool, I just don't care about them. So like their designs are really cool. And I'm sure they're going to look cool in the movie, but I don't care. So unless something changes and then I see the movie and I'm blown away and I do care, then I don't know, man. Maybe I'll spend a few months making the Black Order, but it's pretty unlikely and they definitely won't be in the main Infinity War showcase. Hopefully that answers your question. But anyway, if you want to see all the Infinity War minifigures before they even show up in these making of videos and then ultimately to be featured in the actual Infinity War showcase, then hey man, check out the Twitter or the Facebook or probably the Instagram because it is 2018 and you can see them all over there first because it's way easier for me to post a photo of an unfinished figure than it is to actually make a decent enough amount of progress on them to even make these videos. So hopefully that explains it, and hopefully that explains enough for this update video. It's like 3:30 in the morning, so I'm gonna go to bed and edit this and hopefully get it out by like, I don't know, at least 4:30, 5 o'clock. Probably not. Anyway, okay, that's it. I'm gonna go now. Thanks for sticking around. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye! Oh, actually, real quick, apparently you should like click a notification bell or something to like stay subscribed, even though you're subscribed, because YouTube is like broken. So that's cool. Okay, now I'm going. Bye!